Hello everyone and welcome back to this next lecture in the machine simulation series, and this is where we had left off in the previous week where we had simulated the current source. So just to recap, we had eventually generated a current plot, and this current plot is generated with respect to a current source that is programmed. And as we already said, this current source is a voltage source in series with a resistance. That is a control voltage source in series with a resistance. So not only did we design the control for this voltage source, we also presented some calculations for how we should set the resistance of this control, of this voltage source. So this entire combination of a control voltage source and this series resistance now forms a controllable current source that we can program as any load. And this is what we're going to use in order to be able to emulate the current drawn by any load such as a machine. And that's what we're going to get started in this lecture. We will get started with how we're going to simulate induction motors and in general any kind of machine. So as always, before I start the lecture, a little bit of brief background that if you're interested in these kind of video lectures but you would like something a little more comprehensive, I do have full-length online courses that you can access on my own website, which is pythonpowerelectronics.com. So you just have to go over to the button Learn, and these are the courses which I have. So I'll just go through the courses quickly. The very first course is Simulating Power Electronic Circuits using Python, and in this I talk about the very basics of how you can simulate power electronic circuits using Python and the free and open source circuit simulator Python Power Electronics. The next course is Basics of Digital Signal Processing for Power Engineers, and in this I talk about how you can use Python and the signal package within SciPy to design and analyze filters using Python. And this is specifically for power electronic applications. The third course is Simulation of Magnetics for Power Electronics using Python, and in this I talk about how you can simulate magnetic components like inductors, coupled inductors and transformers using Python and Python Power Electronics. The fourth course is Control Analysis with Python for Grid Connected Converters, and in this I talk about how you can use the Python control package to design and analyze controllers for power electronic applications, and I use it with a particular test case of a single phase grid connected converter, and all simulations again are done using Python and Python Power Electronics. And the very latest course I have is a free course called Why Specialize in Power Electronics, and this course is mainly a motivational course for junior undergraduate students or even high school students who are trying to choose their specialization. It talks about the challenges and some of the opportunities available in the power electronics domain. So all these courses can be accessed by clicking on the button, and this will take you to the course link. The link for this course, this page, is provided in the description of this video. So if you're interested, please do check it out. So with this, I'll go back to our lecture. So before I move on, that is I start talking about motors, one thing we always do before we close any simulation is always go and back up your files. So first thing I do, I export the parameters. So this is the parameter of the first circuit, and this is the parameter of the second circuit. So even if you didn't make any change, it is always advisable to do this so that you have the latest files that you can copy over to a new directory and get started as soon as possible. And this is the control file. Again, if you just say export control, it will export the latest descriptor. So if you've added any variables, you will have those variables as well. So with this, we are good to go. So just a confirmation, go over to the browser and you will see that these files, that is control load.csv and _params.csv, the params file is the parameter file for a particular load, a particular schematic. And for a control file, you will have a descriptor file, which is an _desc.csv file. So these files can be copied over and imported when you want to create a new simulation. So with this, let's now get started with induction motors. So induction motors is a very vast topic, right? So it may not be possible, again this is a Google search which I've probably done before, single phase induction motor. So we will first start with this just as a starting point. We will probably choose many other motors. This is a long series. I don't have any timeline as to when I'm going to end this. This will go on for quite a while. Since there are several motors, I do see myself running this for quite a while. So we can check out any of these. I would say go ahead, let's go check out one of them. I'll open two of them. So as you can see, there is quite a lot of information that you will find on single phase motors. There are lots of sites. This is a University of Calgary site, but there are probably many other websites where you can also find information. So go ahead and check out all of these. Now, what I'm going to talk about, and as you can see, there are lots of very interesting animations that you can also find. But the most important thing which I wanted to show you is what exactly we're going to do in these simulations. So for example, this is a very nice split up diagram of what an induction motor is. So here you can see the outer here, this is the stator, right? This outer cylinder is the stator. It contains the stator coils, and that is this particular stator here, right? Now we'll talk about this second winding soon, but really there is one main winding, which is inductor L1, because that is the self-inductance of a winding. So this winding is wound on the stator, and this gets the main supply voltage. Now the rotor, right? This is the rotor. Now there are different types of single phase motors, right? The simplest and the most rugged form of an induction motor is the squirrel cage induction motor. What that means is that the rotor consists of these bars, right? So each of these little lines, and I would advise you to open this on your own and actually probably zoom in, but this contains of bars which are actually a little skewed. Again, these are machine details. We'll talk about that maybe a little later. But these rotor bars are short circuited on both sides, and this is so that current can flow through them due to induced EMF, and that is shown here. This is a squirrel cage induction motor. You see each of these circles are those bars, right? So these are bars that are short circuited on both ends, and that is important because unless you have a closed path, you cannot have a current flowing in the rotor, and the current must flow in the rotor, because only if a current flows in the rotor will you have a torque which is produced, right? So this is important. So this rotor is mounted inside this within the stator with an air gap. Of course, there is to be an air gap if this has to rotate. And you can see these are two mounting points. These two cylinders are two mounting points, so that this rotor is mounted within the air gap of the stator and can rotate using these. I mean, they're probably ball bearings and other things, and it can rotate within this, right? That is a concept. And there's a cooling fan here. Now this entire motor is usually mounted on some kind of a foundation, because depending on how fast this motor can rotate, it will need an appropriate foundation to make sure that the entire setup is stable. Now, to talk about what this other winding is. Now, if you have a single phase induction motor, right, what that means is you're applying a single phase voltage, right? Now, if you have a single phase voltage and you have a current flowing through, typically you're talking about either a 50 Hz current or a 60 Hz current, depending on where you live. Let's say, for example, if you are in Europe, you would have 50 Hz supply voltage, which means the voltage will be around 240 volts, 50 Hz in most cases, unless you have a special industrial supply where it could be a little higher. But in most cases, this will be 240 volts, 50 Hz. The current drawn will also be a 50 Hz current, right? It's also a single phase current. This current will most probably lag behind the voltage by some amount of a phase angle. The result is now you have a power drawn. Now it's important to note that when you have a single phase supply, the current and the voltage result in a power that has a double frequency oscillation, right? You can just check it out. We'll do it soon. We'll look into this soon. But this has a double frequency component. What that means is the torque which is produced will also have this double frequency component. And because of this double frequency component, you have an oscillating torque. And the result is, if you have an oscillating torque, this motor cannot start on its own. Because remember, if this motor has to start and achieve a certain steady state speed, then it needs some kind of a smooth torque. There will be some oscillations, it will never be absolutely smooth, but it cannot have a huge double frequency component. And it is for that reason that we use a starter winding. This starter winding is an auxiliary winding and it usually has a capacitor in series with it. The result of this capacitor is you are now converting a single phase supply into a two-phase supply. Now this current in this other winding is now leading the voltage by a small angle. The result is you now have two currents. The current flowing in this winding is almost 90 degrees lagging behind the voltage because it's an inductance. The current in this winding will be slightly leading the voltage by a small angle because of the capacitor. Right? Actually, it depends upon what the capacitor is with respect to the inductor, but usually it is chosen in such a manner. The result is these currents are now 90 degree phase shifted, and because of that we now have a cumulative torque which is much smoother as opposed to what you would have with a single winding. Now this motor can start up. Now there are several setups. For example, in this case this is purely a starter winding, which means this is used only when the machine starts. Once the machine has started, there is this centrifugal switch which detects if a certain speed has been attained and it opens. So this starter winding does not play a role in steady state. That's one case. There are also cases where this centrifugal switch does not exist, right? So the winding is always in play. So there are those kind of windings as well. So this is the basic information of a single phase induction motor, and as I said, I would strongly advise that go ahead and read some of these. Like I said, there are lots and lots of details. Most importantly, get a little familiar with some of these equations, right? Most of these equations are basic equations which we will look into. So equations such as KVL, basics of Faraday's law, and several others. But there are some details such as those of torque which it would be great if you're familiar with as we start simulating, because very soon when I start simulating, I will simulate not only the torque equations but also the mechanical equations, which is the mechanical load torque equation, that is similar to, that is using Newton's law of motion. We say that the acceleration is equal to the net torque, that is the torque which is produced minus the load torque which is existing, right? So for example, if we say that there is a load connected, right, and this load could be anything. For example, if it is a pump, then the load is basically the pumping action which is taken by this motor. So that is usually the load torque. If this is instead some kind of a motor generator combination, in that case the final electrical load is what is the load to this motor. But anyway, what matters is there is a torque which is produced, that is the electrical torque, and there is a load torque. The difference between these torques will decide the acceleration of this motor, right? So we will look into that equation too. So I would suggest do a little bit of Googling so that you are familiar with the basics of single phase induction motors, and very soon we will start writing these equations in the next lecture. But most important, we will start with the very basics and we will code this just as we did within this particular case, right? So for this, I will start a new directory, we will start a new project, and we will continue coding just the way we did. If you have any doubts or if you need any further resources on single phase or any for machines for that reason, please do post either in the comments or send me an email or message me on social media, whichever is your preference. Otherwise, I will see you next week where we will start coding this single phase induction motor. And we will start coding it gradually. We will start with just only the main winding. We will examine what happens to the torque and why this cannot be a self-starting motor. Then we will add this starter winding, and we will examine how the torque changes. So that is the purpose of this entire lecture series, to slowly explore this entire concept of electrical machine simulations. So once again, thank you for watching and see you next week. Goodbye for now.